Alright, here I got my 2005 Kawasaki Brute Force, and basically stock. I have done a few things. Biggest thing I've done recently is just put in two new EPI clutch springs. Went with a maroon primary and a black secondary, because you can see I don't really run huge tires. These are 25, but probably go with 27s or something for the snow. Anyhow, I like using YouTube for informative reasons, because I'm, not a professional by any means, but I am okay. If I see it done, I'm usually pretty good. And I couldn't really find anything with how to get the carb out. I've taken carbs off other things and cleaned them out, cleaned the jets, and that's what I'm going to do with this, but I was kind of not sure how to get to it. But basically, you just started in. You got to take the front rack off. You got to take off your pockets, your black pockets down there. Then you can take off your side plastics. And basically the carb sits right here underneath the air box. So that's the other thing that you got to take off. And the reason you got to take this collar off is because it gives you access to this little guy right here. This is one of your intake areas that mounts right here on your air box. Air box sits down there like this. So it's basically this bolt, that bolt, and that bolt, which is this guy here. And other than that, it's got two places that it connects in, those two intake spots, and you got to loosen up your clamps to get these off. But basically, one of them is just a overflow type drain deal here, and you can just pull it up and kind of leave it sitting loose. And then you got this guy, and you just pop the clamps on those, and they'll come right off. Other than that, I'm getting ready to pull this out. But first, before you pull your carb, there is, come around this other side. Alright, there is two, I don't know if it'll show up on the video. Yeah, you can see one. It's right, where are we at here? It's that guy there and that guy there. It's a couple of, take a 3mm Allen wrench and pop those loose. What that does is it drains the gas out of the two bowls. Sorry, bud. Drains the gas out of the two bowls in the carburetor and out through this drain tube that's already connected to your carb. And basically, that just gets tucked on your motor behind this clip, and then tucks down kind of behind your dipstick. So that's where you'll find that. And if you look, you'll see where it branches off and connects into the two bowls of the carburetor. But that way you got your carb drained. You're not going to have any issues. You can see it's done. Not a lot of gas in there, but enough. So anyhow, do that, and I'm getting ready to pop the carb off, and I'll pick up from there. Alright, so I've got the carburetor pretty much completely loose. Got a couple more little things to do, but I wanted to show a couple things. So first, carb's kind of sitting at an angle now, but you gotta pull this outside cover off. That'll give you access to this right where your throttle cable comes in and wraps around the little swing arm. You got to disassemble from right here. Just once you loosen up this outermost bolt right here, then you can pop out the cable, and then you just got to give it a little bit of slack, and you can pull the end right here. You can pull the end right off of where it connects into the swing arm. And then basically, at that point, you got to take off the fuel inlet, the couple of screws connects the rubber boot, and I'm going to inspect mine. I got a feeling there might be some cracks in it, which could be a big deal. But so anyhow, you gotta loosen up a couple. This top one is the most important one here, and back in there you can't see because of the angle this is at, right there. But then there's a couple of sensors. Here's one right here that I've just set aside, and basically it is a, I believe 10 millimeters that you loosen from here. It's got kind of a little funky bracket you got to reach around, because the other part of that is right here, and it just clips over the end of this. So there's that, and then I believe there was one other one on this other side. Yeah, there was another one right there. Basically from that point, once you loosen up the clamps, you can kind of move this around a little bit. And on the bottom, this is the trickiest part. There might be a better way to do this, I don't know. I've never done this before on this bike. But there is where your choke cables come in. Here in the front and in the back, you'll see these little brass brackets that connect in. And it's just one screw, pop that off, this slides off, which basically just slides over the collar of your choke cables, and then those will pop out. So once you do that, the whole carb will come out. Alright, so here it is, out of the bike. A little better view. I figured I could explain things a little better. This is the idle adjustment that basically clips onto that bracket right there. You guys are familiar with that, I'm sure. It just slides off after you get all that other stuff disconnected. It comes right off. But what I wanted to show you a little bit is what I was talking about with those with the choke cables that come in. Basically, they have a little rubber O-ring that the piece itself. I'll just show you on the bike. Here's the deal itself. So it just slides in. It's got a little rubber O-ring right here, and then the bracket I was talking about slides over this collar like that, and that's what holds it in to the carb. Now that bracket and this side here, so you can see where it slides in. This slides over the collar down onto this like so, and the screw goes through there, and that's how that choke cable stays in. Other than that, these areas that you see here that kind of have some white crustiness on them, that is the two areas that the sensors go in. Here's a better look at your two drain. You know, you're looking at the carburetor upside down, but those are the 3 millimeter Allen wrench bolts that you loosen to drain the bowls on your carb. Now I'm to the point where I'm going to start disassembling this, and basically I've already started first 4 screws, and what I've read online, and it is so true, here, and here, is be very careful with these screws. They strip easy. I got 3 of them out really good. They're perfect. The first one I started, I was trying to take it easy, go slow with my impact drill. That's not what I found works the best. I don't know if I can't really get a See, it's pretty stripped out. But anyhow, that was this one, and I started slowly, and it started to strip instantly. These other ones, I just got right after it with the drill. I made sure and had it in there real good, and just pulled the trigger completely, and that popping action that the impact wrench made busted it loose. And you can see they had a little bit of Loctite on these, and I think that's why people have so much. They're pretty soft too, but I think that's why people are having so much troubles. I read a lot of people online say be careful with those. But anyhow, you pull this bolt, you pull this cotter pin, and take this washer off. Be very careful; they're small. And then this system, this will pop off, and then from there, this little cover will slide off, and you can see that is pretty much what is holding the carb together, other than where the gas comes in, and that is just this bracket and popping the tube off. That's it. And then these two, and you got the carburetors completely apart, separated, and you can clean them, disassemble them, clean them both. Alright. This is another thing that you want to look for. This is my rubber gasket, one of the two gaskets, the other one's over here, that holds the carburetor on. And you want to look for cracks like this. Now they're not through the whole thing yet, but they're pretty deep. So I think I'm going to go ahead and order a couple new gaskets, because I'm this far into it. I don't want to put this back on and risk there being a split in here that's going to cause issues down the road.